Hi guys! So welcome to the second lecture video on anatomy or Beta 50 macroscopic anatomy 1. Now, dahil gusto nyo videos, panay videos ang ating gagawin. Right now, wala tayong PowerPoint na gagamitin. Okay? So, for today's lecture, ang topic natin ngayon is topographical and directional terms used in anatomy. I hope meron na kayong copy ng inyong lecture handouts na nakasinend ko sa Google Drive para madali nyo masundan. Itong page lamang na to ang ating discussion for this video. And it would be really helpful kung meron kayong stuffed toy na kasama while doing this video. Better kung meron kayong mabait na pet na tipong hindi magat kapag hawakan nyo sila while watching this video. Stuffed toy or even toys such as this. Okay? We will be using this for our lecture for today. Okay? Topographical and directional terms used in anatomy. Actually, not only in anatomy, in all of veterinary medicine. That is why this is very important and imperative na alam nyo to lahat. Okay, kasi hanggang pag-vet na kayo, gagamitin nyo pa rin ang mga bagay na ito. Para for all veterinarians, for all students, meron kayong common ground. Kasi kapag sinabi nyo to na ganito, ito, that is found in the caudal region, it is definitely found in the caudal region. Ganon dapat malinaw sa inyo ang mga directional terms na ito. Okay? So let's start. Let's start first with the planes. Planes of the body of the animal. Now, animals are actually three-dimensional beings. Diba? Three-dimensional beings, ibig sabihin, meron siyang length, meron siyang width, meron siyang height. Okay? 3 dimensions. Okay? Unlike paper, just a paper, it just have a length and a width. Yun lamang. Okay? Wala siyang height. But animals are 3-dimensional beings. So marami siyang planes na pwede nating ma-discuss. First plane, that is the median plane, M-E-D-I-A-N, okay? Median plane. It is an imaginary plane passing through the body cranio-caudally. It divides the body into equal right and left halves. Ibig sabihin, median plane. Nasa gitna ng body. Okay? It is a plane. Okay? It is a plane. So, ibig sabihin, nasa loob siya. Okay? If we can place this paper directly at the middle of this toy, that is the median plane. Basta kapag narinig nyo yung word na median, it pertains directly at the middle, strictly at the middle of the animal. So, median plane, nasa gitna siya ng animal. Comprende? Okay? Next, sagittal or paramedian plane. Sagittal or paramedian. Mas gamitin muna natin yung paramedian. Paramedian, kung Tagalogin natin, parang median. Ibig sabihin, malapit siya sa median, pero hindi siya median. Ibig sabihin kasi nun, that is any plane that is parallel to the median plane. Parallel to the median plane. Look at this animal. Nakikita natin yung line, yung median line. Diba? Yung nasa gitna. Now, this transparent part of the animal, that is the sagittal plane or the sagittal line. It is parallel. Pero wala siya sa gitna. Diba? Ibig sabihin lang, kasabay siya noong gitna. Kaya paramedian plane. So, we can have a lot of sagittal planes on the body of the animal. However, only one median plane. Iisa lamang ang median plane, maraming sagittal plane. Basta, any plane that is parallel to the median plane. Malinaw? Malinaw. Next, transverse plane. Transverse plane, that is a plane which is perpendicular or at right angles than the median plane. At right angles than the median plane. So, ibig sabihin, any plane that is at right angles than the median plane. So, kung meron tayo, again, a paper, makakapasok siya doon sa body ng animal, and that plane is now the transverse plane. Okay? Ibig sabihin, it is at the right angle of the animal. Some of this, pwede din siyang tawaging cross-section. The cross-sectional plane of the animal. Ibig sabihin, yung section na yon is directly at across with the median plane. Okay? Transverse. Next is the dorsal plane. This is a plane which is in right angles with both the median and the transverse plane. Okay? At the median of the right, at the right angle with both median and the transverse plane. Okay? So that is the dorsal plane. Yung paganon naman. Kung again, if we have again a paper, makakalusot siya sa body ng animal, that is the dorsal plane. Okay? So, if we have this animal, an upright animal, yung ibabaw niya, yung nasa ibabaw niya, that is already the dorsal plane. Okay? That is a dorsal plane. That's why, in some books, or even in this discussion, itong buong likod ng animal, that is known as the dorsum. Dorsum. D-O-R-S-U-M. Dorsum. Yung nasa ibabaw, dorsum ang tawag dyan. Ibig sabihin, part siya ng dorsal plane. So, those are all the planes in the, anong tawag dito? In the body of the animal. Now, let's move towards the areas or location of the body ng animal. Gawin natin siya in pairs kasi lagi naman siya merong counterpart. For example, cranial and caudal. Cranial and caudal location. Yan, para medyo mas kita-kita. Kuha pa ako ng mas mataas na patungan. Better. Cranial and caudal location. Kapag sinabi natin cranial, lahat ng papunta sa ulo. Okay? All towards here, the head, that is termed as cranial. And all towards the tail, that is termed as caudal. Usually, these terms are being used with a reference point. Okay, for example, look at its hind limb. This hind limb. This hind limb. This hind limb is more caudal than the forelimb. Diba? More caudal than the forelimb kasi dito pa siya sa likod. Okay? Pwede natin gawin yon or sabihin yon. Ibig sabihin, it is in the caudal. It is more caudal than the forelimb. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong reference point, diba? So, again, lahat ng papunta dito sa likod, caudal. Okay? Caudal. Lahat ng papunta sa harap, sa head, that is cranial. Okay? Now, there is a much more specific structure in the head. Kasi kapag sinabi mong cranial, ibig sabihin buong head. What if pinag-uusapan natin is yung location within with regards the head itself. For example, mas malapit, okay? Look at the eye, diba? And look at the nose. This is the nose of the horse, okay? This is much caudal than the nose. And the nose is now more rostral. R-O-S-T-R-A-L. Rostral than the eye. Kapag nasa head na, ang gagamitin na natin imbis na cranial is rostral. Kapag caudal, papunta pa rin naman siya sa buntot, kaya pwede na natin gamitin pa rin na caudal. Okay? Malinaw yon. Kapag buong katawan, cranial, caudal. Kapag ulo lamang, rostral, caudal. Lahat ng papunta sa likod. There can never be any structure that is more rostral than the nose, diba? Every other structures, every other organ, caudal na yon sa nose ng kabayo. Kasi yun na nga yung pinakadulo, diba? Gets nyo yun? Okay? And there can never be any structure more caudal than the tip of the tail. Ibig sabihin, pinakadulo na yon. Okay? Wala nang mas caudal doon. Gets nyo yun? Okay? Kapag binanggit natin na the animal has a marking on the caudal portion of its trunk, ibig sabihin, this trunk, itong katawan ng animal, caudal portion ng kanyang trunk. Nasaan kaya yun? It is here. Okay? It is here rather than here. Kasi kapag nandito yun, cranial portion ng kanyang trunk. Kasi trunk, pinag-uusapan lamang natin is yung kanyang buong trunk. Okay? Malinaw sana yun. Cranial and caudal. Next is medial and lateral. Ito naman si Bimbi ang ating gagamitin. Mas madali, mas malaki. Medial and lateral. Kapag sinabi nating medial, di ba? Malapit siya sa ang word na na-discuss natin kanina. Sa median, di ba? Median, malapit siya sa median. So, ibig sabihin, yung medial pertaining to the median plane. Papunta sa median plane. So, nasaan ba ang median plane, kids? Nasa gitna, di ba? So, anything towards that is medial. Usually used siya sa limbs. Look at the limbs of this dog. Meron siyang inner surface at meron siyang outer surface. Okay? Yung inner surface, this surface, mas malapit siya sa median. So, this is the medial surface of the limb. Okay? Medial. Imbis na N, L. M-E-D-I-A-L. Medial surface of the limb. Etong labas, yung counterpart ng medial, which is lateral. Lateral. We can also see that in our limb. Yung medyo maputing part, di ba? Malapit siya sa katawan natin. So this is the medial side. While itong maitim na part, kasi laging tinatamaan ng araw, that is the lateral surface limb. Okay? Medial, lateral. I hope that is clear. Okay? Ganon din sa hind limb, di ba? Meron siyang lateral surface at medial surface. Itong nasa loob. Moving on to dorsal and ventral. Dorsal pertaining to the dorsal plane. So, ibig sabihin, itong nasa ibabaw. Here, this is the dorsum. Hence, this is also termed as dorsal. Yung counterpart niya, dito sa ilalim. Diba? Hindi na to dorsal. Sigurado ako doon. Diba? This is now ventral. Ventral. V-E-N-T-R-A-L. Dorsal, ventral. Okay? Any structure na nasa dorsal plane, merong dorsal at ventral surfaces yon. For example, yung ulo ng aso. Etong ibabaw niya, that is the dorsal surface. Okay? While etong nasa ilalim, that is the ventral surface. Punta tayo sa po. Sa po. Meron siyang nadudun pa rin siya sa dorsal plane, di ba? Pwede din siya sa dorsal plane. So, meron siyang dorsal surface ng po at meron siyang ventral surface ng po. Although, sa animals, yung ventral surface ng po, pwede na din siyang mabago para magkaroon ng denomination ang forelimb at hind limb. Yung ventral surface ng po sa forelimb, that is called palmar. Imagine natin sa atin na lamang para mas madali. This is palmar. Sa aso, this is still dorsal. Dorsal, palmar. Dorsal, palmar. Mahirap taas ang paa. Okay? Mahirap ang taas ang paa. Imagine na lang natin sa aso. Against the dogs, meron pa rin silang dorsal surface ng kanilang hindpaw. Dorsal hindpaw. Yung nasa ilalim, that is now termed as plantar. Plantar surface. P-L-A-N-T-A-R. Plantar surface. Again, dorsal, palmar. Dorsal, plantar. P-L-A-N-T-A-R. Okay, malinaw yun. Dorsal and ventral locations. Next, deep and internal. Deep and internal. Okay? Ang kabaliktaran niya or ang counterpart niya is superficial at saka external. Superficial and external. Punta tayo dito. This is superficial. Ang pinaka-superficial structure ng katawan ng animal is its skin. Ibig sabihin, yun yung pinaka-ibabaw. Kaya siya tinawag na superficial. Okay? Yung nasa loob, kapag tinanggal natin tong skin, ang hirap. Yun. Now, these structures, which is found inside the skin, ang tawag na doon ay deep or internal. Okay? Deep or internal. Kung lalagyan natin siya ng skin, again, skin is superficial, yung nasa loob is deep. Okay? Any other structures na pwedeng na may mga layers, pwede siyang gamitan ng mga areas of location na yun na deep and superficial. For example, if we have 2 layers of muscle, kung meron tayong 2 layers of muscle at ito yung ibabaw, ito yung pinakalabas, this black book, this is superficial. Okay? Etong nasa ilalim, imagine natin muscle sila. Ito ay superficial muscle. Yung nasa ilalim ay deep muscle. Malinaw. Now, there are some muscles na meron siyang 3 layer. 3 layer. Kung ito yung pinakalabas, then ito ang superficial. Sigurado tayo ng nasa pinakailalim, yan ang deep. Ano tawag sa gitna? Yung nasa gitna. That is now termed as middle. Middle. If there are any other structures that are found in the middle of the superficial at saka deep, tawag doon is middle, of course. That is different from medial and different from median. That is middle, gitna. Malinaw. Okay? So that is deep and superficial. Now, let's go to proximal and distal. Proximal and distal. Gamitan natin ng etymology or study of the words. Kapag sinabi nating proximity, within the proximity of us, ibig sabihin malapit, di ba? Malapit. Kapag binanggit naman natin na distant, malayo. So, ganun din sa animals. Kapag sinabi nating, hindi ko maikabit ang tenga. Kapag sinabi nating proximal, malapit sa body. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating distal, malayo sa body. Proximal, malapit. Distal, malayo. Okay? Malinaw yon. This is a limb. Usually, these terms are used in the limbs. Proximal, itong proximal part to, kasi mas malapit siya dito. Distal part, ito. Kasi mas malayo siya sa body. Now, gamitin na natin agad yan sa anatomical structures. Look at your hands, your fingers. For example, wag na natin gamitin yung middle finger. Pangit yun. Let's look at our index finger. As you can see, we have 3 segments of our index finger, di ba? Now, ang tawag sa mga bones na nadyan dyan, na bumubuo ng segments na yan, ay phalanges. Phalanges. Okay? P-H-A-L-L-A-N-G-E-S. Phalanges. Okay? So, may kanya-kanya silang pangalan. Okay? Yung pinakamalapit sa katawan, this one, tawag dyan is the proximal phalanx. Proximal phalanx. Bakit siya tinawag na proximal? Mas malapit siya sa katawan natin. Diba? Kaya tawag sa kanila is proximal phalanx. Yung pinakadulo, ang tawag dyan ay distal. Distal phalanx. Kasi nadoon na siya sa dulo. Diba? Distant. Ito, yung nasa gitna, again, ating itatawag, nasa gitna siya. Hence, that is middle. Middle phalanx. Again, proximal, middle, distal. Lagi nyo yung tatandaan. Kung gusto nyo magpatato, kung pwede magpatato, ang papatato ko dito, hindi mustache. Prox, mid, dis. Diba? Proximal, middle, distal. Tandaan nyo na anatomy. Diba? Next. Axial and abaxial. Axial and abaxial pertaining to the limbs. Again yan. Kapag sinabi nating axis ng animal, the axis of the animal or the long axis of the animal that is aligned in the middle of the animal. Kapag malapit yung structure na yun doon sa katawan, sa axis, ang tawag doon is axial. Kapag malayo, tawag doon is abaxial. For example, here. For example, in the skeleton of the horse. And the skeleton of the horse na makikita sa gitna ng kanyang katawan, that tawag doon is axial skeleton. Yung nasa kanyang limbs, tawag doon is appendicular skeleton. That is also termed as abaxial skeleton. Ibig sabihin, wala siya sa axis. Okay? Malayo siya sa axis. Yung malapit sa axis, axial. Yung malayo sa axis, abaxial. Okay? So, those are the terminologies. Now, let's move on to the movement and direction. Movement and direction ng ginagamit sa anatomy. Okay? Now, here, gamitin nyo din yung katawan at gamitin nyo yung inyong pet. Hindi na natin magagamit tong rigid na toy kasi hindi siya gagalaw, di ba? Punta na lang tayo dito sa pet. Now, in the pet, meron tayong movement na dorsad or ventrad. Movement towards the dorsum, that is termed as dorsad. Movement towards the ventral, that is ventral. So, kapag sinabi sa inyo na transect the skin from dorsal moving ventral. Ibig sabihin, pababa nyo itra-transect. Ibig sabihin, pababa nyo siya hihiwain. Okay? May mga ganong instructions. Ventrad, dorsad. Malinaw? Ventrad, dorsad. Next, caudad and cranial. Caudad, papunta sa caudal region. Cranial, papunta sa cranial region. Move the forelimb of the animal, caudad. Hilahin mo siya palikod. Okay? Move the forelimb, cranial. Hilahin mo siya papunta sa harap. Malinaw. Palmar or volar. Yun pa pala isang term na ginagamit sa palmar. Palmar or volar. Papunta sa palmar surface. Movement papunta sa palmar surface. Dahil medyo mahirap gawin siya sa stuffed toy, gawin nyo sa inyong mga sarili. Imagine this is the paw of the animal. Imagine this is the paw of the animal. Okay, ganyan yung tumayo yung animal. Movement na palmar or volar. Flexion yon, pag ganun. Kasi papunta siya sa palmar surface. And yung movement na plantar, doon naman yon sa caudal region or sa hind limb naman mag-apply yon. Again, this is movement na plantar or plantar kung for hind limb to, palmar or volar kung ito ay forelimb. Malinaw? Next, prone and supine. Prone and supine position. Kapag sinabi nating prone position, pronate, nakatayo yung animal. Okay? Pronate. Okay? Kapag sinabing supine position, nakahiga ang animal. Okay? Prone, supine. Gets? Pwede din yon gamitin sa atin, sa tao. Kapag tayo ay nagpla-planking, pag tayo nakadapa, ibig sabihin that is a pronate position. Kapag tayo ay nakahiga, that is known as supine position. Okay? Hindi lamang sa body yon, pwede din yon sa limbs. So this is the pronate position. Kasi ito yung dorsal surface. So yung dorsal surface nakaturo siya pataas. Kapag pronate, kapag supine, that is the supine position. Kapag movement naman kids, kapag movement, okay? Movement ng pronate, kapag sinabing pronate, pupunta ka sa pronate position. Kapag sinabing supine, punta ka sa supine position. Pronate, supine. Pronate, supine. Pronate, supine. Malinaw? Abduction and adduction. This is the last. Counterparts din sila. Kapag sinabi natin abduction, abduct, ibig sabihin kinuha, pertaining yun sa limbs. Okay? Kunwari, nakatayo si animal, nakatayo lang si animal. Kapag sinabing abduct, hinila siya palayo sa katawan. Diba? Hinila yung limb palayo sa katawan. That is termed as abduction. Kapag bumabalik siya, movement pabalik sa katawan, yung counterpart ng abduction, that is termed as adduction. Malinaw? Abduct, adduct. Abduct, adduct. And that is the terminologies, topographical terms and terminologies being used in anatomy. I hope this video helped. Should there be any questions, comment on this video or message me directly. Okay?